Hello everyone and welcome back to the Corsace Closed Finals Mappool Showcase. We're here to take you through all of the maps that these players in the top 6 will be playing this coming weekend, as all our semifinals matchups have finally concluded. We've got 6 incredible players left in this tournament to play some absolutely ludicrous maps on. My name is Dio. I'm going to be taking you through some of these maps alongside Fiery Rage and Half Slash joining us in for the Mappool Showcase.
Hello. Yeah, I'm excited on these because we're finally scaling up both pool size and we're scaling up the difficulty a bit. So one of the most common things we've heard is, these players should be on harder maps. Well, finals, right? We're not skimping on the difficulty, right? Like, this might actually even seem like quite a big jump from last week's at the rate we're going. But I'll leave that for you guys to decide. So
I'm just here along for the ride. I want to see these map pools. I want to see just how insane this finals map pool is. I have seen a bit of this map pool, granted, but I haven't seen all the maps here, so I am very interested to see how this actually plays out. But before we get into that, let's talk about the general pool size. It actually has increased for the finals weekend, correct?
yeah, we should have an extra hidden, an extra double time, and an extra hard rock, I believe.
So 4 mods for each category. It's going to be expanding the mod pool a bit as the matches go into a first to 7 rather. We'll be seeing a lot more variety in what types of maps there are. Just going to be getting up the first map here. And we'll be getting on with the map pool showcase. Fun fact! Did you guys know No Mod 1 is a No Mod 1 map?
Incredible analysis, Fiery. And yes, this is another No Mod 1 map. It is another Elfinzion song. Actually, our second Elfinzion song in a row for No Mod 1 is Ariadne. Custom mapped for this tournament by Kurashina Asuka.
Yeah, this is actually a collab, so it's not just Kurashina Asuka, aka AidenBH123. There's also a newer face known as, they used to go by Miyu Takeuchi, but then they renamed to Yanagi Nagi 1, so relatively new face in the tournament mapping scene, and so you'll kind of see them switch up a bit.
Yeah, other than that, this is pretty much your bystander No Mod 1. There's not really too much that we can say about the No Mod categories. They're so ingrained at this point as a formulaic standpoint that anything that differs from the formula, you are just going to get yelled at by tournaments.
Pretty much,
so,
especially on No Mod 1. Like, this is one of those sacred picks. It's like, how dare you cannot defile my No Mod 1. If I see streams in this No Mod 1, it's like, oh boy.
Which, to be fair, we are seeing some of them, but definitely a lot more accessible than you might imagine. 213 BPM, at most 8-node streams, doesn't really seem to be that much of a speed gap in comparison, or stamina gap for that matter. It's just about right, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a couple here and there, but it shouldn't be anything that these players can't handle, right? It's not No Mod 2. Not a No Mod 2. Something I like about this map, though, is it's got a couple of those linears, so, it's just like, we don't see the linears too often, even in some of the hidden ones. This map has them. I always like to see that.
Replay by Arco. Thank you very much for giving us a replay on this map. Ooh, that's actually a long stream there. All right. So there is a bit of a stream gap on this, but that's relatively, I think, halfway through the map, so not necessarily going to be the end of the world. And honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'm more than confident in saying that the 6 players remaining in this tournament, they're more than capable of hitting stuff like that. They're not going to have any issue whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, other than that, maybe some awkward aim here and there, but other than that, this is No Mod 1. This is your jump aim map, almost 8 stars, so very difficult, but kind of what you would expect from a finals No Mod 1, all things considered.
this is new star rating kind of doing its work, right? You know, just like it has just enough tapping to just blow up the SR, even though it's really not that. It's really much closer to 7.8 pure Nomad 1.
Definitely still a pretty big jump in difficulty in comparison to last weekend, though. We saw, for example, Nomad 1 be around 7.4 stars last weekend, so even if you're going by the old star rating, that is still a pretty big jump, like you were talking about earlier, half/finals pool. So yeah, for those of you looking for those really, really difficult maps for these top 6 players, you're going to find them. I think we'll probably find another one of them in the Nomad 2 slot for this pool as well. It's going to be our stream map for the finals weekend, and going to be the test for stream stamina for these players alongside Floaim. It's Dream and Attraction, the extended version by Hino Isuka, mapped by Barking Mad Dog for this one.
Relatively a known name in the tournament mapping community. Definitely more known for mapping Nomad 1s, but he is no stranger to mapping these types of stream maps. Has a loved version of I forgot the song entirely, but also, I believe his only actual ranked map that isn't a guess difficulty, Reason, is also very similar to Nomad 2's, pretty much exclusively a stream map, so definitely more than comfortable on playing these, or mapping these sorts of maps. And that's what you see right here.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce the one that the stream map that he made that's loved, but it's that one Camellia one that Astronix also has a ranked version of. So you guys know it. You guys know it. So I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But anyways, this map is quite a change from last week. Last week was much more about 210 consistency, a couple hard stream sections over the course of 4.5 minutes. This one is also closer to the 4-minute mark, but has a lot to do with just the Floaim difficulty. So it just hits you with some of these high space streams, not as much on the stamina department.
Yeah, 205 BPM, so a 5 BPM decrease compared to the semis weekend, but you can already see that doesn't really matter that much because it is much more stamina intensive and just in general more difficult, and you can just see that reflected in the star rating alone. 8 stars is the difficulty on this one. Our first 8 star, since Nomad 1 barely just missed that.
Yeah, it's this one's definitely a step up. But I don't think anyone's gonna get capped on this, at least tapping wise. It's definitely just gonna be aim diff.
If you're confident on the Nomad 2s, especially in regards to the Floaim, this is definitely a map that you're gonna want to pick. Like, for example, Utami. I could see Utami picking this. He is definitely probably gonna want to play this.
I'm seeing this map played quite a bit, honestly. It's like Tommy could play this, Matthew could play this. Like, I mean, it's like I don't know. Like, we can list all the players in the tournament pretty much left. Not really all of them, but most of them can play this. And so I expect to see very high presence of this.
Which you kind of expect for most of the Nomad pool. Most of the Nomad pool is just, in general, what people are comfortable at, with the exception of sometimes this and Nomad 5, but other than that, most of the time you generally see most of the Nomad pool left up in the ban phase.
Hey, though, we can't forget about the, redheaded stepchild of Nomad 6, so... Just gotta pretend that one doesn't exist, right?
I mean... With the players left in the tournament, I don't think Nomad 6 bans will be as prevalent. Maybe against, like, Taquito, but other than that, I don't really see Nomad 6 being a potential ban otherwise. I think pretty much every player left up in the tournament at this point is more or less at the same comfort level in that regard.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, this last section, definitely I think is more on the heavy control rather than the Floaim, so except for that stream at the end. You know, you gotta have that end diff spike stream, kind of round that no mod 2 off.
Definitely think that was speaking of more well-rounded no mod 2 than what we saw from Swampbush last week. I think a lot more players, like you guys talked about, are going to be contesting that map between each other with the heavier focus on flow aim. So I'm really excited to see a lot of the scores that we get on that map. And speaking of flow aim, we're going to be going into another one of those types of picks, a flow aim control sort of map here for No Mod 3. It's going to be the Altpic in the No Mod pool. And it'll be Resist by Kotone, mapped by Captain VTuber Alt. I hate 2022.
I mean, to be fair, okay, this has been used as a tournament map, I believe. I forgot the tournament. This was a tournament custom map, though. Not for this tournament. This was a different tournament, I believe, earlier this year or last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick's Winter Cup was it, actually. I remember test playing this, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm like, Malazewski's over there salivating seeing this one come back. This was the Grand Finals pick, I think, actually, for Nick's Winter Cup. So this one's coming in finals. It's really interesting since this is supposed to be around the same difficulty. This is actually supposed to be a stage down from Nick's. So it's really interesting to see this one making it easier. But I guess the Nick's scores were such that it's like you gotta put this one earlier when he's just, performing too well on Nick's. So. Anyways, about the map itself, 150 BPM. It's got some funky stuff like we've seen the Kotone alt maps before, and here it is again.
Yeah, a lot more focused on more or less what we saw in the No Mod 3 for the semifinals weekend. Just cranked up to 11. A lot of snap aim focus, a lot of general, just awkward aim focus, I'd say, in general. Those alt patterns, squares, you got snap aim, you got pretty much everything in this map. As well as a couple of fast sliders, but those usually don't trip you up that bad. It's all pretty much sometimes flow aim, like right there. And snap aim, for the most part.
Yeah, I think I kind of like this because it's like a good mix of both. And, there's an R.
Get it? Because the titles resist! What?
Oh, true. Gotta love those slider art callouts. Makes me glad this isn't a hard rock pick, otherwise it'd just be ruined.
Yeah, not too much to really say about the rest of this map.
I'm wondering, doesn't this one have like some crazy pattern like right before the chorus, or is it at the end of this guitar solo? I think it's before the chorus, yeah.
There are a few crazy patterns in this that definitely are a bit more diff spiky compared to the rest of the map, but they aren't that noticeable in my opinion. Definitely not nearly as bad. Like that pattern right there is probably what you were talking about, but I don't think that's necessarily that much more difficult than the rest of the map. I'd say this is relatively consistent in what it tries to maintain in terms of difficulty.
Yeah, I think what will probably get people on that one is that it's after a calm part, so it's just kind of hard to get back into things, even if it's about the same difficulty as everything else in the map.
And that's the end of that. Gonna be getting into No Mod 4 now, the tech-oriented map pick, and what a better way to introduce a tech map in any No Mod 4 slot than with a realism map. Who would have seen that one coming?
Oh man, whoa, we're back in 2020 again. Alright, Relazy, come on. Let's see the Relazy map.
Welcome to Symmetric.
Man, I thought the map introduction was my job, guys. What's going on here?
Yeah, my bad.
Finish that off.
But for real though, this is kind of a throwback map. Actually, we've seen this in a couple of other tournaments. Like you said, actually happening 2020. I think Nick's Winter Cup 2021, right after 2020. This was picked a couple times for some other tournaments. Kind of classic Relazy tech map at the highest level of difficulty for this one. Symmetric by Axion.
Yeah, so this is it's kind of nice to see this again. It was the in the grand finals of Nick's Winter Cup, so this is about, I think, the right difficulty. This is quite a bit of a step up. 15 BPM increase, but roughly the same pattern complexity. However, what it kind of gains in terms of, you know, cut stream difficulty, it kind of loses in slider aim, right? Like, there are sliders, there is some slider aim, but it's nothing too crazy. It's much more about these crazy streams.
Yeah, and at 200 BPM, there is a bit of a speed component to this. Not necessarily as much as you might expect, but it is present, and if you're not comfortable with 200 BPM, especially 200 BPM cut streams, that can definitely throw you off guard very easily in this map in particular.
Yeah. Fun fact, by the way, you guys might recognize this one from a featured artist debut, as it was used for the reveal of DJ Rice. Also, it's a collab with Cientros, who is another FA. Aha, we got them both. Totally not related to doing it. Totally not. The rest kind of speaks for itself, right? Because it really is just all these crazy streams.
As well as that funny kick slider pattern at the end there.
Oh,
Don't break on that.
We love slider streams. We love slider streams.
Love slider streams and love really ridiculous slider shapes near the end there too, with follow points in the ends of those sliders. So very, very tricky near the end to deal with both the streams and those slider shapes. We're going to be getting into a very different type of map now, though. If you've watched tournaments before, you may remember Nomad 5 being a very speedy type of map, and that is what it is here. Well, going to be another speed-focused pick for this next Nomad 5 coming up. Going to be triggered by the Shopkeepers theme by Hagane. It's a Yaspo custom map for this tournament.
Oh boy. Yeah, so this one is a bit different, right? So I bet you've been wondering, it's like, where's Yaspo, right? So Yaspo, he's been on a Steam game crusade, so he's just been getting all the like $10 games that come up for sale, played one of them, and then he found this banger, you know, in apparently a shop. So that's why he's mapping this one. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but that's kind of the case here. So similar artist to it's actually the same artist of, I believe, Event Horizon. So if you guys remember that Yaspo custom map from a couple years ago, same artist. So
the absolute classic Corsace Open 2019 Nomad 6.
Yeah, gotta play those Steam games. You'll find the bangers that way. But anyways, about the map. So this is actually less stamina intensive than most of the Nomad 5s that we've had. But it compensates for that by going up 16 BPM. So 16 BPM, and it focuses quite a bit more on isolated bursts, and fills with a lot more aim than you guys have seen in the previous weeks. So yeah, and it's 4 minutes too, so it has a consistency component.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a pick that we'll probably see Matthew favor a lot, as well as Arnold. Those are the two remaining players in the tournament that would really just absolutely go to town on this sort of map and absolutely love to play it.
Yep, that's pretty much it on that. The burst patterns are nice. That's pretty much all I'll say. I like the burst patterns in this one a lot. There's also quite a bit of filler aim in between that, so the consistency is really going to come into play here. You have chains of, probably, 20 circles with bursts in between, and then you kind of just have to keep the single tap going. Unless your ulting is just that.
Shout out to Malteser for getting this replay for us, as well as playtesting this map in general.
Yeah, though I do need to follow up with our streamer after this one to tell us about what kind of game this is, because I still don't know. It's like I don't want to make sure we're like pushing like one of the adult games or something.
Surely not.
No, those don't have pingers. They would never.
We're going to be reaching the end of this, and almost near the end of the Nomad pool as well. Once this map finishes out. Not really too much to say about this map. It's a fairly consistent burst difficulty map. It's your standard, by standard, Nomad 5 at this point. Not too much to say.
I love that rectangle at the end. Woo!
And now, it's a real shame that we are not going to end up seeing Ikoro in the finals pool, because Nomad 6 this week is more of a traditional Nomad 6, and as a matter of fact, Ikoro has the highest accuracy on this map, which is a ranked map, and you can kind of already see where this is going. Welcome, Devious Panda.
Finally.
Yeah. I kind of want to talk a little bit about this map, because this map has a really interesting story. So we were originally Sapphire on Fire, and this map was originally going to be a hard rock pick in last year's Perennial, but we scrapped it because it was just too hard, and for good reason, right? In a pool that at this stage is as hard as most 1v1 Grand Finals pool, we're putting it in Nomad here in Corsace Closed. This is an absolutely disgusting finger control map, and one of the earlier maps that Devious Panda had that focused on these types of constant rhythm changes and constant speed and finger control strain all throughout the map, in addition to, as you can kind of see, a lot of flow aim strain and spaced out doubles all throughout the map as well.
Yeah, so there's more to the story, so it didn't just end with Perennial. So this map did not just get griefed, it actually got griefed last year for Corsace Closed, where it was supposed to be, you know, the Corsace Closed guys heard about what happened in Perennial, and they're like, yeah, we'll use it, totally. And then it's like, push came to shove, and then they like had to move around a bunch of stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, can we just like turn this into like a low AR hidden pick? And then like another cooler was like, this is a terrible idea. So the map just ended up getting bit. So this map took like until it got ranked to finally see justice. But Redemption arc, here it is, Finals Nomad 6, Corsace Closed, 2022.
Finally, finger control from Devious Panda getting pooled in a tournament. We finally get to see a Devious Panda finger control map, guys.
Never been seen before.
Groundbreaking.
No
We've
longer
never seen
impressed.
this before.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is insane too. Some of these bursts get really fast. You know, it's got a base BPM of like 175, so we're looking at 263 BPM equivalent bursts in the middle of those streams. Yeah, this is the finger control enthusiasts are going to have a field day on this one.
That's going to do it for the Nomad pool, and I have... well, we're going to be getting into the hidden pool, first things first. I have quite a number of things to say about this hidden one. None of them are very good. It has nothing to do with the map, mind you. It has everything to do with the song. That's the issue here. Welcome to Drive On Crazy by Kakomi. Custom map for this tournament. This is what you would expect from a hidden one. It's just awkward aim, but take a very close look at that BPM. Yeah, I'm not having fun. I had to time this. It was not fun. It was not fun. It was actually the worst day of my life.
Yeah, looked at this map in the editor a little bit before the showcase, and there's just red lines everywhere. There's just new timing points everywhere, all throughout the map. I mean, there's some parts where you just get new combos one after the other, all new timing signatures. It's like the tiebreaker that we saw this weekend, but in Hidden 1 with all those different timing changes and BPM changes all throughout. So, yeah, it's just an aimed map, but timing it properly is still going to be a bit of a challenge for players regardless.
You can sort of hear it just off the music alone. The drums are just... they're drums. That's really all I have to say about it. But otherwise, this is a relatively straightforward hidden one. Mostly what you'd expect, just awkward aim, very spaced out jumps. A few decently long bursts in this one as well at 210 average BPM. Granted, that does dip to sometimes 200, even sometimes at points 195. But for the most part, it's your generic, relatively straightforward, awkward aim hidden map in hidden.
Pretty much. This is also by Hishiro Chizuru, who I believe this is his first custom map, making his custom debut here on Corsace Closed 2022. Though he has ranked quite a few maps, at least over the course of 2021. Especially if you love those hit classics, definitely not some of those. But yeah, so it's it's Amy, and kind of it, right? It reminds me a lot of, like Hades the Rise or whatever, the Devious map in terms of style.
Well, what better way to make a custom map debut than by naming the difficulty It's Morbin Time for this map? What a diff name. Love that difficulty name, actually. It's very, very timely for this map. But, like you said, it's very aimy. It's kind of got that sort of slightly bursty style that you see in maps like Hades, The Rise. A little bit more structured in terms of the way the awkward aim presents itself than last week's Hidden one. But other than that, very similar to what we saw in pretty much every previous Hidden one as well.
Yeah, difficulty just cranked up to 11 here, obviously, as most of the maps so far have been. So a lot more difficult compared to the hidden one last week. Definitely not going to be seeing nearly as high of scores on this map, I would imagine, as we saw from this weekend. That's about all that there is to this map. This is relatively consistent in difficulty. Not really any major diff spikes, I'd say.
Aim TM, that's really all I got on this one.
That is fair.
With the extended hidden pool with 4 hiddens now, I think it makes quite a lot of sense to keep Hidden 1 very aim-focused like this and to keep it relatively structured so that you have a lot more wiggle room with the other maps in the hidden mod pool. It definitely makes a lot of sense to have something like this, which is really, really focused on that one skill set of awkward aim. That is going to do it for this map. I want to mention as well that this map does have that kind of relatively low approach rate, AR 9.4, as compared to last weekend. So there might be a little bit of a density check for some players, but nothing that the hidden players who are left up shouldn't be able to deal with.
Well, speaking of low
density
approach rate,
speaking of low approach rate, let's get into the next map. It's going to be the low approach rate hidden map, and it's going to be Hidden 2. In this case, it's Shoyu Redemptor, the Digital Universum version. The special difficulty here, mapped by Impure Pug. AR 8.2 for this map and CS 5, but really a lot of the difficulty wrought from patterning in this map, as this is still 6.5 stars, even despite being that low approach rate hidden pick.
You've probably seen this in a few other tournaments as well. I think 3WC was one of them that used this, either that or some Digital Habib tournament. I don't know. I know it was definitely used as a free mod pick in one of the tournaments, though. And this is very hard, fun fact.
Yeah, this is it's kind of unique because it's like, you usually think of Impure Pug as that DT mapper, right? Like, throwback to the Corsace 2020, triple, like DT, like he had like 3 DTs in one pool or something, right? And just like, this is complete opposite, right? You can still tell it's an Impure Pug map, but on low AR, that's something else. I believe this is has a decibel AR of looks like 8.2, And it's also CS5, so non-standard difficulty settings as well. Just imagine, though, if this was a free mod, like, woo!
Well, it's only going to be in the hidden pool for this tournament, so only have to worry about the low approach rate hidden. Granted, you also have circle size 5, so a bit untraditional circle size for a low approach rate hidden than maybe some people are used to, but still relatively pretty much a self-explanatory reading test, as well as a few awkward angles here and there.
Yeah, this one focuses a lot on those linear patterns. And then you got bursts between them too, so you can't really rest, right? Like that's one of the traditions that I've started to see with these low AR picks is they just have like huge circle chains, right? And it's just all about keeping that consistent reading difficulty. So.
Definitely does make it a lot harder when you don't have the kind of breaks that those sliders give in order to keep that consistent reading difficulty. So it is a good way of making the picks generally harder without making them super spiky, especially on stuff that's a little more aim focused like this pick, right? Where you have a lot of the difficulty baked into the mechanics of this map rather than a lot of overlaps like we saw on, for example, No Mod 6 last weekend.
Yeah.
For now, though, that is going to bring us into our next hidden map. It's going to be a bit of a departure from what we've seen in the hidden thus far. And the first of our speedier sorts of hidden maps is going to be a Camellia pick for Hidden 3 here. 222 BPM. Spin Eternally, the core's extra difficulty here on the Starstream map set of this map. I guess 4.5 is still a little bit of precision on this one, but not nearly as much as on that Hidden 2. And yeah, a lot of the difficulty on this map baked into the speed tech portions of this map.
Yeah, if you know Decor, an up-and-coming Russian mapper, unfortunately restricted now, but was definitely very much into these sort of slider tech-oriented weird maps that you see a lot. A lot of his ranked maps sort of reflect the style that he was sort of building there. And it is ever present in this one as well. See the cut streams, the weird slider shapes, slider velocity changes constantly. And that pretty much describes this map to a T, I'd say. 222 BPM. So speed cap in place on this map, especially with these longer streams, as you can see right there. Definitely something you'd only want to pick if you're comfortable at this BPM.
Yeah, this is like bait for the DT4 players, right? So it's like, you've seen those DT4s that, they have a lot of mechanical difficulty to them, and then but the patterning is just relatively straightforward. This is kind of that, except it's in the hidden pool. In particular, I'm actually reminded of this one pick in Nick's Winter Cup that was in, I think it was the finals DT4. It was a, it was basically 210 BPM streams with some, some awkward movement. And I think it's like if you fuse that with some sort of like tech pick, then kind of just easier aim control on the streams.
I believe this song also was custom made by Camellia for Beat Saber, the VR game everyone was talking about in 2018 that actually I don't think really died out, but no one really talks about it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think people still play it, right? It's just, you're kind of gated by a VR headset, right? Not everyone wants to put down money for something like that.
Yeah, not too much else to say about this map. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, pretty much. We got that last drop though. It's that's kind of where you start to get the Axel decel sort of stream stuff. I was missing that. I was like, you know, is it really just like a speed, like slider aim sort of tech thing? And then we get that. It's like, woo! That's where the fun is, right?
Yeah, this ending kind of goes off. And now,
really interesting sort of hidden 3-pick there, and I think a pick that balances a little bit better with some of the really heavy focus on flow aim that this hidden 4 is going to have. Much like the previous week's hidden 3 in semifinals, this new hidden 4 here is going to be a very flow aim focused sort of pick that I think a lot of people are probably going to be familiar with as well. Let's get into Axion by Sakuzio, the hidden 4 for this weekend. Hollowing's extra difficulty of this, or Hollowing's X difficulty on this map set.
not the top diff, mind you. The top diff is maybe a bit too hard. Actually, I don't even know if it would actually be that much harder than everything else in the pool that we've seen so far. In fact, I actually think the Hollowing's diff on this might be slightly easier than everything else that we've seen so far. Still very much hard to actually play in tournament setting because there's just so many things that you can just randomly miss on. I mean, it's a Hollowing's map. It's literally a Hollowing's map.
Yeah, very near and dear to my heart here. I still remember when this map was uploaded. Woo! Oh man. Yeah, this is kind of crazy, right? So it's like 160 BPM, but I would not call this an alt map, and I don't think most would either. It's kind of you have a lot of inverse spacing, equal visual distance sort of stuff. So it's really a reading map with aim control is how I would describe this. So tossing that on hidden, right, it's kind of insane. Especially like you see these doubles, they just have kind of insane spacing along with that. So yeah, watch out for that. Oh yeah, and don't break on those reversals. Those were infamous before, and they are infamous now.
Granted, not nearly as bad as playing them with Hard Rock, but yeah, they are still very much difficult to hit, even with Hidden and No Mod, so make sure to hit those properly, just like Mega MK did, you know? Just be a Mega MK in this world.
Yep.
Except, in this case, don't miss at the end like Mega MK did here.
Oh yeah, we're adopting the Hippo Cup sayings now. Just say "don't miss" at the end of every pick.
The Hippo Cup Mappool showcases are something else, man. You just yeah, and don't miss on the 8-star maps that we've given you here. I guess it's kind of similar to what we're doing here, right? Don't miss, guys, on the 8-star maps that we're giving you here, and don't miss on the nearly 8-star Hard Rock 1 either. You're gonna be another aim pick here for Hard Rock 1. Yakusoku no Ao by Rail. It's a custom map by Agatsu for this stage. And yeah, not quite 8 stars, right around there with No Mod 1 at that 7.8 mark.
7.9 mark, as a matter of fact. Real song artist everyone has to be familiar with at this point. If you have played Osu, you have literally heard this artist already because the most played beat map is a real song.
I mean, you probably even heard this song, right? Like, this is, I like, come on, like, there's many maps of this, right? Like, I'm pretty sure you played a map of this already. I don't know by who, but I know, Spartan's over there salivating, like, this is supposed to be my tournament pick, so, I don't know. But, yeah, so, fast aim, there are some triples, and otherwise not really much speed requirement to speak of. It's Hard Rock 1. Sharp contrast to last week's, though. Last week's was a lot more, screen jump focused. This one's focused a lot more on just jump chain length with, medium large jumps. So I think the raw aim is a lot more present in the No Mod one this week compared to last. So.
custom map for Corsace Closed. The first of 2 custom maps in the Hard Rock pool that we'll be seeing.
Yeah, and if I think this is Agatsu's debut as far as custom maps. So Agatsu's been around for quite a while now, giving you the finest anime treats, but it's I think this is the first time they actually decided to custom. So we'll see that.
Is this actually the first time Agatsu's custom map for a tournament? I swear to God, he's done others.
It's the first time I've seen it, so I maybe not. Maybe Agatsu did like copy Hispanic or something. But this is the first time I've seen them, at least in Corsace. So
I would be very surprised if he didn't actually custom map before. Agatsu is really well known in the mapping community in general. Was an ex-NAT after all, so you only really get that position if you're well known for being very good at mapping and modding.
Pretty much.
Yeah, other than that, this is your generic aim pick in Hard Rock. A few awkward angles here and there, as much like Agatsu's mapping style normally is. But for the most part, it's generic aim. Just definitely at a higher BPM.
I was about to say, I'm like, I think I saw some rhombuses kind of sneak their way in there, right? And you could actually see that they're rhombuses because they're not NC'd like 1-2s or whatever. So, but of course you got some of that, you know, NC fun happening too. So.
One thing to note with this map, kind of touched on it earlier, Happy, that map is going to be testing a lot more of the sort of medium length jumps than we saw from last weekend with that 185 BPM No Mod 1. I think it's also going to fill in a lot of the streamy and speed focus that we might have seen in other Hard Rock picks, and any of the other Hard Rock picks likely not to be too stamina focused, and I think we're probably going to see that from the rest of this Hard Rock pool as well, even with some of the more stream focused maps. That said, let's go into another different type of map here. It's going to be the second of 2 custom maps in the Hard Rock pool, as we talked about before. It's Fervidex by Ferriquidus, another custom map by Mimilia.
The precision pick in the Hard Rock pool. CS 6.5. Main focus on this is just testing your precision aim, much like every other Hard Rock 2 up to this point. Bit of light tech here and there as well, as is kind of expected from Ferriquidus. Sort of expect that from their songs in general.
Yeah, it's a kind of an art core consistency pick, so it's just like a couple of really short bursts at a BPM that pretty much everyone can play. A couple 1-4 sliders here and there, nothing too crazy. This is I think the second custom I've seen from Mimilia. Mimilia making her debut in Corsace Open 2021. So it's quite different from the pick that they had there, though. So.
I want to note another very different type of precision map compared to what we've seen in the previous 2 weeks, where we had a map in round of 16 and quarterfinals that was basically all aim. Especially the quarterfinals pick was really kind of your Hard Rock 1, but CS 6.5, just all aim consistency in that pick. And then the previous weekend in semifinals, we just had a pick that was all flow aim, all low BPM stream stuff. This pick kind of merging those 2 together, giving you a much more consistency-focused precision pick in Hard Rock for this Hard Rock 2, with a lot of different styles mixed into the difficulty strain for this map.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of like, you know, this is like the true middle ground between, you know, Fiery's pick from quarterfinals and last week's. So
Don't slider break on that slider, by the way.
Oh yeah,
there was a slider after that little pause in rhythm that had a slider tick on that. Make sure not to miss that. That would be really unfortunate.
This section in general is just really cruel, especially on the nerves. So those calm sections on hard rock are brutal. That's how you know that slow section is there to mess with you, right? Because it's like, there is still a break in this map, so it's not some, like, hatred of breaks or whatever. It's just like, ooh, there's a... oh boy. It's like right before that last chorus, too. That's always fun.
Yeah, I feel like the timing on breaks from custom mappers, especially, putting them, like, 2/3 or 3/4 of the way into the map is just intentional, right? Like, just to mess with the players who are in match and whose leaderboards get forced to show up on their screen now so that they can see exactly what the score difference is. Just to mess with the nerves from the players there at the end of the map. But always kind of fun to talk about what happens. So
yeah,
we'll see a little bit of that. Maybe we'll see a little bit of that this weekend if that map does see play. Hopefully it does as one of the 2 custom Hard Rock pool.
Yep.
We were talking about last week's Hard Rock 2 and how flow aim focused it was, and there was some of that in Fervidex there for the Hard Rock 2 pick, but I think this Hard Rock 3 is really going to round out that flow aim test in the Hard Rock pool. And it's going to do it in a pretty unhinged way, honestly speaking. Mayteki Cybernetics as the Hard Rock 3 pick here is just an absolutely ludicrous alt map pick in Hard Rock. The aim control required for this map is out of this world, and you'll see it here with all the wiggle streams and very, very quick changes in stream velocity in this map.
Yeah, just as a comparison, this has been used for No-Mod 3s in several different tournaments. I believe usually this relies mostly in quarterfinals, semifinals. This was a grand finals pick for, I believe, a rank restricted tournament for a summer tournament, but it's been used pretty much constantly for a wide variety of different tournaments. I think Centaria as well used this at one point. But we are using it in the Hard Rock slot, not the No-Mod slot.
Oh boy, I always love seeing, alt-style picks on Hard Rock, right? So, rather than the typical, kind of mix of finger control that we've kind of had, especially last week, by the same mapper, it's a lot more simple in terms of just being aim control, right? But the aim control is definitely quite hard. Hard Rock, especially on this low BPM, is also going to be quite tricky to handle. Even in the round of 16, I believe, we saw people struggling with the low BPM on Hard Rock as
well. I'm actually very interested to see how everyone is going to play on this. I think this is probably, so far, the most accessible Hard Rock pick that we've seen so far. Definitely still requiring a lot more aim than I think Hard Rock 1, but just in general, considering the BPM overall, this is definitely way more accessible for everyone to really get a relatively good score on this, I'd say, even with the awkward aim.
Yeah, it's probably the first Hard Rock 3 that, didn't look like, oh god, like this is crazy. We're gonna see like 93 AC average, and then it's like 98 to pop off or whatever. So pretty cool to see that.
Don't worry though, because that just got moved.
Oh, perfect.
That next map upcoming, we'll talk about it in a second, but yeah, I definitely think that this map is going to be a little bit more accessible than something like the Hard Rock 3 that we had in both quarterfinals and semifinals. Both of those really, really going hard on the tests there for previous Hard Rock 3s, whereas this map kind of putting that to the wayside in favor of just testing that low aim in the most straightforward way possible with that really, really tough aim control from this map. Gonna finally finish it out here, I believe, relatively soon. But yeah, just a relatively brutal test, I think, here for Hard Rock 3.
Pretty much.
All right, and that should take us now into the fourth Hard Rock pick. If I already mentioned it earlier a little bit, that the finger control map and the act test map in Hard Rock got moved a little bit. I do think that with the No Mod 6 being what it is, being Sapphire on Fire, maybe this map not quite as disgusting of a finger control pick as last weekend, but still definitely moving in that same direction. This Hard Rock 4 pick by AK plus Q and Redalia. It's Enigma Helix, mapped by Ice Cult. Very well-known map with some very, very tricky finger control sections and some very tough to read parts in this map as well.
Now this is a throwback. Whew.
Back when Shern was still mapping. Throwback.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, it's this set. I got history with this set. Actually, I'm on the set, so yeah, this is a set that we like made back in 2017 or whatever. So Shern's difficulty lives below this, and then Ice Cult was just kind of like, I'll rank it. So he just took the set. Here's his top diff, right?
You can just sort of see these cut streams. This is definitely the more tech-oriented Hard Rock in the pool. You got a lot of cut streams, a lot of awkward patterns in general that you have to keep on your toes, aiming constantly. Especially these cut streams. Like, these cut streams get absolutely brutal in this section.
Yeah. So this is where the less accessible sort of pick here. This is a lot more of a flow aim control sort of thing. It's not I don't know, it's somewhere in between, the Hard Rock 3 and, just a typical stream pick. So I think it's honestly more of an analog compared to last week's Hidden 3. So just of course on Hard Rock. So good luck.
We'll say this part right here kind of foregoes some of the flow aim that we were talking about before and finger control that we were mentioning. This is where we're going to see a lot of act drops and a lot of miss aims as well when you get a lot of this snap aim focus happening in this section.
Yeah, some of those space doubles are just brutal, right? Like, especially at this BPM, this is 172. This is not like your typical, 150, 160 BPM space double. This is big.
That's going to do it for the Hard Rock pool as we get into the last part of the map here. The relatively tamer part, not really anything that you can miss on here. Maybe some of the sliders you could slider break on, but not really anything necessarily overly complicated, just hard to act. That's going to do it for the Hard Rock pool. Now we'll be getting into the last modded pool, the DT pool, before the tiebreaker. And these maps are going to go on by fast, as DT maps usually are. Definitely a lot shorter length than what we've been seeing throughout the entirety of the map pool so far. Starting off with a custom map, one of 3 in this, might I add. So we get into Rewrite by Asian Kung Fu Generation, Kudosu.
Yeah, wow. Never heard of this band before. Yeah, DT1.
I think they do anime. In fact, I actually think this is from an anime, as a matter of fact.
Oh, what anime is that? Don't tell me it's the one called Rewrite.
No, it's Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually forgot. Wait, was this Brotherhood or was this?
No, this was the 2003 version.
Oh, okay, that's why I didn't watch that one. I'm a Brotherhood enjoyer, so. Yeah, I mean, so we're just talking about anime because, you know, the map kind of does what it does, right? It's DT1, you know, you got fast aim, you know, it's 269 BPM, so maybe that's a standout, right? So pretty fast. Has a couple of these burst sections, just to make sure you're not ulting the whole thing, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, not an awful lot to say about these sort of aim picks. They become so formulaic that you just kind of know what to expect from them for the most part, and this song is something that most people that play Osu are probably familiar with. This is a relatively popular map, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, this one's custom, so there's probably a popular map of this song, right? But I mean, see, the thing is, though, you can tell the poolers have, you know, they have grace for the players, right? Because it's only 10.3, right? We've seen an uptick of, you know, some of these high AR picks going into like 10.4, 10.5 like finals, right? And it's not really going on here. It's just 10.3, no problem, easy.
Yeah, not an awful lot else to say for this map. Just enjoy the little aim as we enter the last part of that map. And as we go on to now, DT2, the longest DT map, also a custom map. This is going to be Lucent's second custom map of Corsace Closed, I believe. The earlier one not really being a custom map, but edited for Corsace Closed. Welcome to another Epica song in Double Time 2. Wow, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah, Wings of Freedom, this time mapped by Lucent for this tournament. It is 236 BPM streams, the name of the game for this one. AR10 for this map, so not high approach rate, but not super dense either. Really, the focus here is going to be on the stream stamina, though. At 3.5 minutes long, this is a pretty lengthy test of those higher BPM streams and bursts, and yeah, this section of the map should kind of clue you in to exactly what this map does this weekend. Last weekend with Nomad 5, we had a lot of this similar style of mapping. If you remember, the Nomad 5 semifinals was really focused on just 240 BPM streams and bursts, much like what you see here. So DT2, the spiritual successor to the Nomad 5 from last weekend.
Yeah, and these are not your average bursts. These are straight-up death streams, as you are seeing right now. 32 notes in length for some of them, even longer. This is all about whether or not you have stamina for these high BPM sort of maps.
Yeah, that's right. There's not even very much of a flow aim requirement on this. It's really just, hey, can you hit 236 BPM death streams? If so, you know, this is free, right? I expect to see pretty consistent FCs from players that pick this, right? Or at least, you know, like 800, 900k or something, right? But yeah, this is, you know, there's not really much finger control. There is like a couple like doubles and triples like between some of the streams and some like calmer parts, but in the like choruses, it's all just like, you know, 30 note long streams, and then you hit a burst, and then that's your rest, and then you hit another 30 note stream. It just goes.
Unfortunately for Lucent, I am under the unfortunate impression that we are probably only going to be seeing this map once. Or maybe twice, depending on who wins the winners, the two winners, or not winners, losers matches for the finals, because Arnold and Matthew exist, and this is something that they are 100% going to pick if it's left open. And yeah, no, they're probably gonna they're probably just gonna have it banned out of them, straight up.
Hey, we also got Utami, right? So I think Utami would pick this one.
You know, that is a good point, and he's up against. Okay, so never mind. We're never going to see this. we are literally never going to see this.
All the speed, all the speed players are just, you know, they are, they're up against people that know that they're good at speed. So, oh boy. some of these are beautiful, right? Like, there's just something so satisfying about seeing a stream that goes to 50 notes like this, and then just, you know, it's preceded by a quint and another 50 note verse, or a stream. Like, I just love it.
Yeah, your bystander double time too. Not much else really to say about it. Oh!
Unlucky.
Ouch.
Unlucky there at the end. But yeah, a little bit of aim requirement some of these DT picks. I think we'll probably see a little bit of that in upcoming map as well, as we get into the just raw, pure speed test in this DT pool. The highest BPM outside DT1 is going to be the 260 BPM Double Time 3 Zodiac Syndicate Australia no Sobe, mapped by Ring. Very, very old map, actually, for this DT3 pick.
Yeah, not necessarily ranked old. This was ranked in 2016, but submitted 2012. Most of you probably know Ring from very, very old maps, such as... I completely forgot, actually. My bad. Mind Mapping is the more notable one that he's made.
That's why you forgot it. He mind mapped you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah, this is very much a burst map. As you can see, Nissan, somebody who is very good at bursts usually, 90%. This is definitely a burst map.
Yeah, though this one has a very interesting like intensity curve where it's like normally for this slot it's all about like you have really fast bursts and then they're just really isolated. This one it's got like, you know, long bursts like surrounded by lots of triples, and you just have crazy speed patterns like that. So it's really hard to kind of keep your mojo on this one. Very stamina heavy 260 BPM pick, I'd say.
Yeah, this is something that Matthew is absolutely going to adore, these double patterns as well. Very finger control intensive, and with the additional speed requirement, this is just something that I imagine Matthew and Arnold are going to have a fun time on, and Utami for that matter.
Yeah.
But enough of that. Let's go into the final custom map of the finals pool, and it's going to be the final map of the DT pool as well. Double time 4. It's going to be a Buto Ome song, Yura Kamishibai, by Thunderbird.
Yeah, so remember when I said that 260 BPM was the highest BPM outside DT1? I lied. This is 345 BPM, but... Technically, it's 345 BPM, but this is going to play more like an alt map and more specifically like a 172.5 BPM map. This is kind of in the style of like the super old Legia alt maps that we saw in OWC this year for DT4, but a little bit higher BPM and a little bit more modern as well. A lot of really kind of awkward aim control patterning in this.
This is what we've been seeing a few double time 4s throughout the past few tournaments like Corsace Open and OWC, as you mentioned, go towards. This is more the high BPM alt pick that we've been seeing a lot more DT4s opt into, alongside sometimes having a tech-focused pick in there occasionally, but this is going to be that alt pick, as you were mentioning. It's just going to be all about your cursor control for the most part, as well as your tapping.
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, I'm pretty sure this mapper is debuting custom-wise in Corsace Closed here. So, although their old name was better, it was not Thunderbird before. It was other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's like 170-ish BPM, you know, quote-unquote streams, honestly, if you want to call them. It's like quasi-alt patterns. I think this is kind of like... there was this OWC pick that it reminds me of this, but this one's on roids, so...
Well, not quite the matchups yet. We have one final map, and this is a map that pretty much everyone in the tournament is already going to be familiar with. This is the tiebreaker map that, has made rounds. I believe this has been used as a tiebreaker in some other tournaments, but more notably, this has just in general been played for any top player, really. This has been one of their go-to maps if they want a consistently difficult experience. And you know what it is? Sans Undertale. Not really Sans. This isn't actually Sans, but you get the idea. Camellia, The World Revolving by Ile.
Hold on, wait. Is this Undertale or Deltarune?
They are the same game. I am utterly convinced about that.
Ah! Anyways, yeah, so about this map, so, again, if you're an avid watcher of Nick's Winter Cup, you would have seen this year as the Nick's Winter Cup 2022 Finals Tiebreaker. So, exactly what we have here. It's making a comeback. You know, high BPM, you know, jump, like, slight attack, sort of, has a couple bursts. That's kind of what's going on here.
As everything that you would expect from a general tiebreaker consistency map. Pretty much everyone that is playing a tournament, at the very least, knows this map, but for those that are unaware, this is a very, very popular map for top players to be playing, mostly because it's just consistently difficult.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, I did get word from our host that this is, in fact, from Deltarune, so just gotta clarify that, settle the score here.
I like tiebreakers that have songs like this, right? I think that, and I was having this conversation a couple of years ago with Trasher, Canadian OWC players, and we're talking about like what map to pick for a tiebreaker in some random tournament that I was going for, and we had like two maps that we were looking at that we were like, well, these are both pretty good, and he just said something that kind of stuck with me, which was, well, I like this one map over the other because it sounds like final boss music, and your tiebreaker should just sound like final boss music. So these types of songs from like Deltarune and Undertale, specifically, you know, Megalania and this one, The World Revolving, both hit that pretty well, I think. Really helps build the tension, helps build the hype, and for some players can help increase the nerves during the tiebreaker as well, which is always an interesting thing to talk about, right? Tiebreakers as kind of a test of nerve control for players, because I think it's a conversation that has kind of fallen to the wayside in favor of looking at player skill sets and looking at matchups and looking at how they've played on the day. But the nerve control, especially on longer tiebreakers like this, really does play into how well players can do on a particular map.
Yeah, definitely final boss music right here. I don't remember which boss this is a theme remix of. I know it's from the first chapter, because the song has existed for quite a while, but yeah.
Do not spoil it for me, because I have not played Deltarune. I also haven't played Undertale, as a matter of fact. I have not been spoiled on Undertale yet. Don't ask how.
Oh, well, you just need to go play those, like, right now.
Yeah, my bad. Let me just disconnect real quick.
Yeah!
Alright, cool. Cool, he's gonna go play Undertale. Perfect.
He's gonna go do it. Yep, speedrun. Hey, welcome back. How was your run, man?
Oh, it was good.
Yo, it was so good, his mic lost the ability to transmit audio. That's how good these games are.
No, it sounded like he lost the ability to transmit audio, man. Like, he was just so taken aback.
Nah, dude, I'm gonna go on AGDQ. Don't worry about it.
Okay, let's go, man. Yeah, so you definitely gotta play this so you know what that like this section is a reference to, because it's not the song. The rest of this is a remix of. So. Whew.
Yeah, this is the more tech-oriented part of the map, in case you couldn't tell.
Something that was lacking in last week's tiebreaker. Always like to see you know, tiebreakers kind of between weeks change up the focus a little bit, especially if one of them, like last weekend, is focused a lot on, you know, raw mechanics and maybe alt swing stuff. This one focused a lot more on kind of awkward aim all over the place and a lot of slider stuff plus speed that was kind of left out of the previous week's tiebreaker. So
look at that cute
really
slider.
Cool to see.
Yeah, it's
What a
like
cute
a
sight.
heart with wings. Kind of looks like a butterfly. Like if you look at it, it's like, man, oh.
A little bit of a slow section here, but not for nothing, as it picks up pretty quickly after this part again. And you get more of the pretty ridiculous speed and awkward aim sort of stuff that we've seen throughout the rest of the map before the ending here. Not too much to talk about otherwise, though. We've already kind of gone over what this map does and what to expect from it. I think one thing that we're going to expect on this type of map, though, is some pretty ridiculous scores from some of the players who are left up in this tournament. Last I checked during Nick's Winter Cup, Malashevsky actually had the top score on this map. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this one again. He is, okay. Yeah, so Malashevsky's still the top scorer on this map, and I think that we'll probably see some of the other players start to practice this a little bit more. Zuninator top 20 on the map as well, currently still in the tournament in winner's bracket, but I think a map that probably has more plays V2 by these players than V1 right now. So hopefully we see them start to get on the leaderboard a little bit alongside Malachevsky's map in the top 10 there.
Yeah, honestly, it'd be crazy to see an FC on this.
Case in point.
Yeah, case in point, if you FC this, you're kind of nuts. Because that part is like... That is a part of the map that exists, in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, that's going to just about do it for the finals map pool. The 6 remaining players are going to be playing on that pool for this upcoming weekend. And now we'll get into more of the matchups talk. Talk more about just what to expect from the 3 guaranteed matches that are going to be happening, and the 1 potential match that is going to happen in the loser's bracket after.
Yeah, we've got some really ridiculous matchups going on, but before we get into that, we're gonna... Happy, are you sticking around for this, or are we just rolling with me and fiery matchups, just so that we know who's sticking around for this one?
Yeah, I'll stick around for this one. I'm just as excited about these matchups as you guys probably are, especially after this weekend, right? Hard to move away from the computer when you got some crazy stuff, and I think these are going to be even crazier, right? Like, it's really getting down to the wire. The difficulties going up on these pools, and these matches have not, like, just from the matchups, like, hard not to be hyped. Hard not to be hyped.
Yeah. I think similar to last week, we'll probably start with the winner's bracket matchups and then go down to the loser's bracket afterwards, if that's correct. But we're going to go ahead and hopefully get our first matchup on the screen here. There are just some ridiculous ones going on. We've got only 6 players left, right, in the winner's bracket. We've got Zuninator versus Athy, and then down in the bracket, we've got Arnold versus Taquito and Utami versus Malashevsky. So 3 absolutely ridiculous guaranteed matchups, like you were talking about, Fiery, and then a potential matchup between either Arnold and Utami or Malashevsky, or Taquito or Utami and Malashevsky. So yeah, just disgusting sorts of matchups here. Definitely not Taquito versus Akora. We did see that conclude before the start of the final showcase. Instead, we're going to start off talking about Utami versus Malashevsky in the loser's bracket. This one, these 2 players, man, are just absolutely ridiculous. I think a lot of people probably surprised to see both of them in the loser's bracket, but this has been a really interesting tournament to watch because of the shakeups that have happened, and because of the fact that we do have players like Utami, like Malashevsky in that loser's bracket, having to make those runs through some of the other best players in the tournament. So really looking forward to seeing these 2 monsters face off against each other, because man, you could easily see this as a grand finals matchup.
Yeah, and you can already sort of in general, you can kind of see the general picks and bans that they're going to do. Utami is by and above better at speed and stamina than Malashevsky. There is no doubt in my mind that Utami is not going to, like, there's no doubt that he's going to pick Nomad 2, Nomad 5, DT2, DT3, all that stuff. You can pretty much guarantee that he's going to pick that if it's not banned. Anything like that is pretty much free game for Utami. Malashevsky, on the other hand, we'll probably be seeing him stick more or less, I think, in the hidden pool aspect of things, as well as more of the tech maps. You can see, in general, his strongest suits are definitely in those little aspects of finger control and tech-oriented maps. Meanwhile, aim in general is just aim. I think they're pretty evenly matched on that, though.
Yeah, pretty much what I want to see these guys really contest on is those hidden picks. It's just, you know, because it's like, I could definitely see, you know, Utami picking whatever, you know, left-hand stuff that Malashevsky does not ban out, but I think hidden's really going to be where the toss-ups are. They're just both so proficient on that.
I think it's also going to be interesting to see how both of these players do on, for example, the Nomad 2, because a lot of people know Malashevsky as a very, very good tech player and hidden player, of course, but he's also got some really ridiculous speed and stream stamina nowadays, and on picks like the hidden 2 in this map, or not the hidden 2, the Nomad 2 in this map pool, where we see that BPM actually drop down to 205, the flow aim component really make up for that. I think that Malashevsky actually has a very good chance of taking breakpoints on stuff like that, and on stuff like that hidden 3, I believe it was, the 2 BPM Camellia map in hidden this week. Definitely a Malashevsky sort of pick, and something that I think, again, is going to be pretty well contested between these two, like you mentioned, Happy, and the hidden. So I think that these two are going to give us a really interesting matchup. You can already see kind of from the stats there, despite kind of having a bad weekend for Utami, the speed and stamina still really showing up there for him, particularly the speed, the stamina kind of evenly matched between the two of them. And a lot of the other sort of stats that we have for them pretty evenly matched, particularly the aim, the finger control as well. So I'm going to be looking to Malashevsky to kind of make up the difference in some of those other areas, particularly tech, where he's seen Nomad 4 banned against him so often, and in some of the other gimmicky places throughout the map pool, because I think often we just see those types of maps banned out against Malashevsky.
Yeah, definitely don't want to miss this one. This is definitely, I don't know, this is a highlight to me.
You can say that about all of them, man. I mean, all these matchups are absolutely because it's not super often you get really ridiculous 1v1s like this, although we've got quite a few of them going on at the moment. But yeah, going to be interesting to see. I guess we'll go ahead and move into our next matchup. We kind of talked that one over quite a bit, so let's go into the second guaranteed losers bracket matchup of the weekend in finals. It's Arnold versus Taquito for this next match. These two players, I think, have some very, very similar skill sets as well, if you want to talk a little bit about those, Fiery, because both Arnold and Taquito very, very strong in some particular areas that I think they're both going to look into picking against almost everybody else.
Yeah, pretty much Arnold definitely has the speed advantage over Taquito. If you just look on paper, you can even see that in the results. Arnold, I'd say that speed thing is kind of underrated. He is more than capable of playing maps like DT2, Nomad 5 at a very exceptional level. Definitely better than Taquito. I imagine Taquito's going to want to really stay away from those. But on the other hand, Nomad 2 this week, since it's a lower BPM, I actually think Taquito might leave open. But what you're probably trying to push me to say is how hidden is going to go for these two players, because these are two very well-known hidden well-rounders. They can pretty much just do anything in hidden. Give them the hidden mod, they will probably do better on that map with hidden than no mod. Like, maybe 75% of the time. And otherwise, I'd say Taquito having the aim advantage, definitely you can sort of see that in the results there. Definitely has a slight aim advantage, as well as tech advantage. Takedo in general, I think, on those Nomad 4s and on the, to some extent, Hidden 4, I would say, but that is a bit more of a toss-up anyway, because Arnold's also good at that. But I'd say, in general, on those tech maps, I think Takedo has the advantage, and just on the speed maps, Arnold will have the advantage. Everything else is a bit of a contest, a bit of a... it could go either way, depending on the match.
Yeah, personally, I could see a lot of the match being spent in the Hard Rock pool, actually. It's like, I think that would, at least if I was Takedo, I would kind of just pick Hard Rock and, you know, whatever aim is left from Nomad, and then just kind of roll with that while Arnold kind of picks DT and Hidden, right? So, and it's just like, it's just a matter of, it's like, if you can, like, edge out those Hard Rock wins and then, like, maybe 1 or 2 Hiddens, it's like, close match, but, you know, I could easily see it going that way.
I definitely think, also looking at the precision score for both of these players and the raw aim score, there's so much of that, both aim and precision, whenever you pick into any of these Hard Rocks. So I think definitely right about picking into the Hard Rock for Takedo. I think that's a solid strategy. Arnold famously uncomfortable on Hard Rock as a mod in general compared to the Hidden and the Double Time, so it should be a solid pick strategy for Takedo. And we have talked about both of those matchups pretty solidly at this point, so unless anybody else has any closing thoughts for this one, I think we should be good to move into our winner's bracket matchup at this point.
Yeah, let's go and see what the winner's bracket has in store for us. Spoiler alert, it's Zudi versus Matthew. Double spoiler alert, Nomad 5 and DT2 are not being played.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, this is a match where, like, I could even see something like DT3 being banned out by Zudi instead of Nomad 5, because I think that instead of DT2, because I think that the DT2 is like the most double tappable out of them all for Zudi, but even then it's a tough ask against Matthew. There's going to be some speed abuse going on in this matchup, and you can see that in the statistics pretty easily. Matthew, one of the best speed players in the game right now, not withstanding anybody, just an absolute monster on speed, and is going to abuse all of those tapping maps into Zudinator, whether it's speed or whether it's stamina, just an absolute monster on them. And I think the exact opposite is true for Zudinator, where you're looking to her to make use of the ungodly aim that she has. Just absolutely ridiculous aim player for Zudinator. Probably some bans from Matthew, either on the Hard Rock 2 or on the Hidden 1 or Mod 1 or any combination of some of those aim maps, because Zudinator's consistency, even at this near 8-star range on those types of maps, is completely ridiculous. So really looking to these players to kind of lean into their strengths against each other, and hopefully by the end of the pool, with how mismatched the skill sets are between these two players, we may end up seeing a very close match between them.
Yeah, we do have... Zudi is probably going to be staying within the confines of the Hidden pool and the Hard Rock pool, minus the sometimes speed cap maps like Hidden 3 that we've seen. Matthew going to be sticking with DT, obviously, and maybe not as much DT4, but definitely the first 3 DTs I think are pretty much no-brainer picks for Matthew at this point. And Nomad 2, Nomad 5 as well, definitely also pretty much no-brainer picks for Matthew. Those are definitely things that he's just going to want to pick straight up. Zudi, in the meanwhile, definitely going to be staying with the number 1. Nomad 1, Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1, I think are all fine. But we also have the reading maps, such as Hidden 2, and I guess even to some extent... I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought entirely.
It's definitely not Nomad 6 this weekend. That's a little bit of a different map than what we had last weekend, but yeah, definitely agree with what we've talked about so far. Happy, do you have anything else to mention about these two players right now?
Yeah. Actually, I'm thinking that just because Nomad 5 is so different, that one might be left open by Zudi, and then she kind of bans out DT3, which is a lot more kind of mash heavy with those 260 bursts, right? So kind of seeing that angle, I think some of the stuff in Hard Rock might be a good time, even though Zudi's traditionally known as a hidden player, right? So I'm thinking like that Hard Rock 3, that altish thing could be a good one to contest on. So couple that with the other Altpic, you got a winner. So I don't know. It's gonna be a match to watch. I'm kind of interested because it really could go either way. It's like ultimate tapping versus ultimate aim, right? And it's just that's kind of crazy. I'm saying this about like a former top like #1 player, but it's just the level of aim that Zudi's displayed has definitely made her queen in that regard. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of maps that I think Matthew maybe starts to have a little trouble with, even because like the No Mod 2 in particular this week, again, going off of the BPM decrease by 5 into this week. It's only 205 BPM, and it's at the edge of Zudinator's comfort range with stamina, but it is at the edge. And so it's not quite out of her comfort range, and specifically with the really heavy flow aim that's in that pick. I think there are a couple of places like that where we might see a bit of contestation between the two of them, but definitely a story of two mismatched skill sets going up against each other for our winners bracket finals between Zudinator and Matthew. That, however, is going to do it for us for the broadcast this weekend. That is all that we have for you. You can tune in next weekend right here at twitch.tv/Corsace to see all of the matches live. And if you miss any of the matches either this weekend or next, you can tune into the YouTube to see all of the VODs with audio uploaded directly there for all of you to view. So thank you everybody for watching. Good luck to all the competitors next weekend, and we'll see you for the finals.
See you guys then.
See ya.